listening to Pink Lady Presents, only on LA Talk Radio.
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna...
A fun, uplifting program which celebrates people of all ages and from every walk of life. Every week, our guests will tell their stories about their lives well lived. You know what? I have a story to tell you too today. Everyone asks me, hey Pink, what do you do the first thing you get up in the morning? Well, I know what I do. I put my feet over the bed and I look out into my very pink garden and I say thank you. Thank you to the universe for giving me another day at 85 and a half years young to help other people see life through rose-colored glasses. And then I tell them I want to help them to get up, get out, and get the life they so well deserve. By the way, just to let you know, Get Up, Get Out, and Get a Life is my new book. Today I'm going to do something a little different. My guest is a phenomenal singer. I would call someone that can do music from jazz to opera. And I'm going to put a smile on your face and a little bit of a heartbeat running up. And we're going to hear Miss Coco York. Okay, Coco, it's all yours.
I don't want nobody always sitting around me and my man. Tell you I don't want nobody always sitting right there looking at me and my man, being my mother, my brother, or my sister. I tell you, girls, get up, throw on some clothes, go out and help them find somebody for themselves to find. Now I don't mind the company, don't get me wrong, 'cause company is alright with me every once in a while. Tell ya I don't mind company, 'cause company is alright with me every once in a while. 'Cause when me and that man get to loving, I tell you girls, now I dig you, but I ain't got time to sit and chit-chat and smile. Don't send me no doctor filling me up with all those pills. I got me a man named Dr. Feelgood. Oh, that man. Dr. Feelgood in the morning, yo, is this man's game. And after one visit to Dr. Feelgood, you can understand why I feel good. Oh, night in a man's show makes me feel real good.
Yes. Wow. Coco York. Lady,
Yes.
you are really hot.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank
me
you, Pink.
something. A lady from Arkansas, Kansas. I just read you've been to like over 40 countries and nations all over.
Correct.
And you've been before queens and kings and even a president. Tell me something about that.
Well, when I left America, and I moved first to Australia, and then from Australia I was there for about 2.5 years. I did a number of wonderful, beautiful things there. And then when I left there, I moved to the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
And there, I was there for about 5 years before I became professor of music at the Rotterdam Conservatory.
And how young were you about that time?
Pink, it's hard for me to keep up with numbers. You know why?
I get
you
it.
know why?
Sure.
Because I let go and I move on and I keep
love it.
moving forward and I don't keep
You're
looking
right.
backwards.
Age is only a number.
So I,
Good
when
girl.
people ask me
Good
questions
girl.
like that, I'm like,
No, I love it. Love it. I love it.
So I became professor of music at the Rotterdam Conservatory, and in between all of that, when it just all kind of beautiful things blossomed. I performed for President Clinton and his wife twice,
Wow.
and
okay.
kings and queens like you mentioned, and all kind of other beautiful things.
Let me ask you, your type of music.
Mm-hmm.
It said when I was reading opera, jazz,
Mm-hmm.
blues.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really prefer?
All of it.
You know
All
what?
of it.
You can't help but feeling good with her. I mean, really and truly. Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give others who want to perform in their later years? I mean, because really, that we see people of 20 and 30 and 40, and then we start getting up a little bit. And to me, age is only a number.
Exactly.
And a lot of people feel when they hit, say, 50, oh, it's over. Well, you and I don't believe that.
Right,
But what
right.
advice would you say to them?
This is the way I see things. God has given us a talent,
Right.
and we should use it to the best of our ability always. Like you always say, it's not over till it's over.
Correct.
So you just have to keep pushing and keep using your talent in any and all ways that you can. Simply because when you lose it, when you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it, exactly.
And other talents can be added when you keep using the ones that God gave you. So
Why, and I'm reading this, a master's of psychology.
Yes.
I'm seeing an entertainer, a singer, and all of a sudden I see a professor, and then I see master of psychology. Why did you go into that?
Someone once said a long time ago, they said people like going into psychology so they can learn things about themselves. And that's exactly why I went into psychology. I wanted to learn more about me, and what better way to do it than to get the educational background to be able to understand me. When I can understand me, it helps me to understand someone else.
So right now we're going into like a psychological session
Of
of
course.
what makes Pink tick. A lot of different things, let me tell you. What is the next act in your life?
Well, I finished all of the internships that I needed to finish. Now I'm working on getting board certified in 2 areas.
What's that?
One is music therapy,
Ooh.
which I'm a music therapist, and the
Okay.
other one is I'm a behavioral therapist.
And what is that?
That's working with kids with maladies who have autism on the spectrum,
Wow.
developmental disabilities, ADHD, and other things. Now, music therapy is really the gold.
I heard.
Yeah, because music therapy, you can take all of those dimensions and add to and use other idioms as well, and add music to it and create a whole technology around helping people with Parkinson's, people with multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, dementia,
right.
everything, as well as kids with autism. So it's just so multifaceted.
Because they're telling me that someone who has Alzheimer's, and they'll be sitting and just focusing on nothing, just the air, and music will come on, and all of a sudden that person will just literally wake up and start to either sing a song that maybe was in their memories,
Right.
and it just comes. I think it's fascinating. How many more years you have to to go into that? In other words, to
Oh,
study?
I'm studying now for the board certification.
Great.
So all I have to do now is just go take the exams and pass.
And in between?
And pass.
You'll pass. No. I don't even go there. You will definitely pass. In a couple of words, what do you know? What do you feel makes a good performer?
Being yourself.
Okay.
Being happy.
Yeah.
If bringing out the joy that's in your heart.
Yeah.
If there's joy in your heart,
It'll
come across. If there isn't, whatever that is going to come across as well.
I love it. I met Coco first when she auditioned for my show, We Are America, a salute to our veterans last year.
Mm-hmm.
And she got up on stage and began to sing her song. And all of a sudden, it was like the whole room got still. And we said, and I said this to my director, I said, wow, she has what it takes. Coco York.
Thank you.
God bless you. To me, you're the top.
Thank you.
You are, and you've got to come back again
Oh, definitely.
when we have a lot of time.
Definitely.
And talk about your new musical therapy that you're going to pass.
Yes.
And everything else that
Yes.
you're doing.
Beautiful.
God bless you. I
You
love
too.
you. Thank you. And now we'll be right back. Thank you.
You're listening to Pink Lady Presents, only on LA Talk Radio.
My next guest is someone that
You're
I met
listening
a
to
few years
Pink
ago.
Lady Presents, only on LA
And
Talk
I am
Radio.
so proud of this gentleman. Hi, everyone. We're back. And we're back with a gentleman who I met a few years ago, who I am very proud to say that he's my friend, Mr. Greg Lee, a Vietnam War veteran, Army veteran, who has given so much back to his fellow veterans during his time and now after his time spent in the Army. Greg Lee, hello. You are top of the list in my thing. Tell me something. How young were you when you went into the Army?
So I was age 18 when I enlisted in the Army the last year of the draft. I wanted to do what I thought was something good.
Oh, and how long were you in the service?
I spent 4 years on active duty.
Chaplain DOV, you've known Greg for how many years?
A long time.
A long time. And you've worked with him?
We work together very well, and quite frankly, there's so many interesting stories.
Okay.
So I want to just run through a couple of things, and rather than me doing the talking, I'd rather have you do the talking. I know that you are the department commander or the state commander for California for the Jewish War Veterans. And in that capacity, you were on the California Commanders Council, which is made up of all of the leaders of the 18 or 19 largest veterans groups. I was at the meeting a year ago when you were reelected for the second time as the chairman of that council. Tell us something about the organization of the California State Commanders Council, what you do, and how many members you have?
Sure. Well, you know, the California State Commanders Veterans Council is California's official veterans council. It is, yes,
Didn't know that.
Well, it's sanctioned, and we are in the California Code. We appear in Code Section 73.4 for anyone who wants to look up the military and
love
veterans
There will
code.
be a quiz after the
Yeah,
show.
I love it.
The great thing about that is I was up in Sacramento a couple of weeks ago, and Josh Newman, our state senator, who is the chairman of the Senate Veterans Committee, introduced me as California's de facto official spokesperson for California's 7 million strong veterans community.
Oh, wow.
So we've got about 2 million veterans here in California and about 5 million dependents and supporters and things like that. And so it's what a great honor to be able to carry that torch.
Well, that's one of the roles that you have. Another one is that you're very involved with Chuck Ashman and with the business opportunities for veterans and for those who are going to be released from the military. And I know that you're involved with cybersecurity. Give us a little bit of what's happening on that front.
Right.
Absolutely. I think, you know, in my capacity as chairman of the Commanders Council, we want to focus on things that affect all of our veterans in this state. One of the most insidious things that's happening, and it is not discussed very often, is the issue of cybersecurity.
Tell people about that, because I don't even know what that is.
Absolutely. You know, everybody probably that watches the news and whatnot has recently learned that Equifax or one of those large credit monitoring outfits lost all of their data and all of their records. We hear Home Depot did it a while back. It happened at Target. It actually happens a lot more than what the news media purports. The bottom line being that a study commissioned by AARP, and the University of Chicago actually conducted it, revealed that veterans are 2 to 5 times more likely to be victims of identity theft and other cybersecurity crimes. So we view this as a very cutting edge, very forward moving subject, and we're doing all we can to protect our veterans and actually everybody in the state and nation.
Wow.
And I know that one of the resolutions that was passed at the National Jewish War Veteran Convention and the Executive Committee dealt with when people who go into the military are discharged and where they're discharged. Can you tell us what is that called and what does it really mean to Californians?
Well, you're talking about a little thing that we've dubbed Operation Home Again. And it turns out in California, because of our most desirable living conditions and whatnot, for every person that enlists in the military, we get about 5 discharged into California. And unfortunately, not everybody does the proper planning. Some of those people end up in Balboa Park sleeping underneath a bench or something, and homelessness, not to joke around, is something that we take very seriously. We don't want to drop the ball on that. And so one of the things that we could do to alleviate the homeless issue is return the people separating from the military to their hometown, where they would have a support system vis-a-vis their family, relatives, things like that,
Great
friends
idea.
they might have grown up with. The other thing that it would also serve to do is here in California, when you want to go down to the Veterans Administration and have a doctor see you, you might wait for a long time. There's a lot of people here in Southern California. Let's just use Schenectady, New York as an example. Not so many people there. You don't have to wait too long for an appointment. So what it would also do is it would enable the resources that are limited to be more evenly distributed, and all of our veterans would then receive the type of service that they would like.
Is that being starting to be implemented, or is there a law going to do that?
We are of the opinion that it takes at the very least a Department of Defense directive to enable something like that. We believe that it also might actually take congressional legislation to enable something like that to happen. I want to make it really clear that we're not looking to pull the rug out from underneath anybody. Whoever enlisted under their current enlistment contract will receive the benefits or whatever the provisions of that contract are. We're looking for our new recruits to be under this program.
Wow.
Okay. One of the other things that I was privileged to observe you do, we have a national cemetery here in Los Angeles with 88,800 grave sites. And we've been closed for years because there's no room. There's no room at the inn. On November 15th, you were one of the people, shovel in hand, who did the groundbreaking for the new columbarium. I know that will have 90,000
Wow.
niches so that we will be able to handle the remains of 90,000 veterans and their families. And I know that it's important. I'm sure you have heard about the veterans' families who say, well, we have to go to Riverside, we have to go a great distance and take 3 buses and get rides from family members, so we don't get to visit our loved ones once they're interred. Do you have any particular view on what's happening with this new columbarium?
Well, I think anything that our Veterans Cemetery Authority can do to enable our veterans to be interned in a national cemetery is noble and of value. There's not a whole lot of benefits to being a veteran, and one of the very few is being able to be interned in a national cemetery where the grounds are immaculately maintained and your relatives can come and visit you virtually any time without any kind of challenges. Certainly here in Los Angeles, we have lots of challenges. As you mentioned, the cemeteries are indeed full. People are just dying to get in. We don't have a lot of room. The columbarium is going to be a fantastic addition for people of the faith that
Right.
permit them to be cremated. A columbarium, for people that don't know, are to house cremated remains. We still have some challenges with people of other faiths that do not necessarily embrace the cremation situation, and we're working on that. I've also heard some news that at the Sepulveda Veterans
I heard
Facility
that.
that they are
There's
possibly
room.
going
Yes,
to
I heard that.
take some of the golf course.
Yes, let them take it, right.
Well, yeah. I mean, as it is now, the golf course out there has so many gophers that if you want to lower your golf score, every drive results in a hole in one.
Can I ask you something? As I said, I am so proud to know you because you've given, truthfully, your life to the veterans. And a lot of people, when they leave service, sometimes they leave it. They're full of pride. They've done their duty, but they don't do what you've done. What made you continue to do it, Greg? Really?
The question that the way I'm going to answer that, you won't believe it, but it turns out I'm actually a very selfish, egotistical kind of guy.
No way.
Yeah. Who would
Come on.
think, right? And so, can you imagine? Here I am. I collect Social Security. But
Okay.
where else can I go where a whole bunch of people still call me kid? And so it just makes me feel so good when I walk into that post and all those people
love
say,
it.
"Hey, kid, we're glad you're here." And that's what it does it.
A couple of years ago, with the Veterans Holiday Celebration, which is held on the first Sunday of every December, we welcomed you as our keynote speaker, and people had a lot of questions about the services and benefits that they would get. Every year it's held on the West LA campus. You were there, you saw all of those folks from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Pearl Harbor, Tuskegee Airmen. What did you think? What did you feel when you looked out and saw those folks that day?
Well, I have to tell you that there's not a lot that's more inspiring for me than to be with the people that came before me and paved the way so that I can even be here speaking English. It wasn't that long ago that there were plans for the United States to be speaking German. Not that there's anything wrong with Germans, but I kind of like English, and I'm so proud of people like the Tuskegee Airmen and that I see that really sacrificed so much so that people like me would have a free country to live in and be able to appear on shows like this and have these kinds of conversations.
We mentioned briefly your involvement with the Jewish war veterans. Tell us a little bit about that documentary, True Honor.
True Honor. Fabulous. I saw it. It's fabulous.
Well, absolutely. A lot of people are not aware, or a lot of people have the perception that Jews shirk military service. Back in 1896, when we were founded, the Jewish war veterans came about in response to Mark Twain's article in a magazine that said the Jews were cowards and did not serve in the Civil War. So the people of the day got together, formed the organization, sent some of the documentation into Mark Twain, who, to his credit, retracted those allegations. And it turns out that Jews have served in every single conflict America has been involved in. And not only have they served, they've served with pride, distinction, and honor. So we thought that it would be appropriate to actually make a little film that would instill, that would salute American Jewish pride and patriotism. That's what our goal is with True Honor, and what it does is it depicts the story of the 17 Jewish Medal of Honor recipients, and some of them are fairly recent. President Obama conferred a medal on one of our recipients, and
one of them wasn't it Tibor Rubin?
Tibor Rubin was a Holocaust survivor, born in Hungary. When he was liberated, he said, if I ever get to America, I'm going to become a G.I. Joe. And he came to America. He immediately joined the Army. He was sent to Korea, where he was captured after a lot of wonderful just Medal of Honor value. He is credited with saving American lives. And not only did he receive the Medal of Honor, it took 50 years because of anti-Semitism, but President Bush awarded the Medal of Honor to him. He died in 2015, and Greg and the Jewish war veterans were very involved in having the name of the Long Beach Medical Center changed. It is now known as the Tibor Rubin Medical Center.
And if I could interject, kind of the neat thing about that is there are only 3 medical centers in the entire Veterans Affairs Network that are named after war heroes like that, Tibor Rubin being the 3rd. The other 2 you might have heard of. One's named Audie Murphy, the most decorated soldier of World War II. And the other came from World War I. He's a guy that name you also might recollect. It was Sergeant Alvin York. And so I think that the Jewish war veterans and Tibor Rubin are in great company.
Right, they are, and we've had the opportunity to meet his daughter Rosie and his son Frank, and I'm very proud to have been the first commander of the Tibor Rubin Jewish war veteran post. And now we have a terrific young fellow who's Sergeant Major, who's going to be the commander, Sam Uden, and we're looking forward to that happening.
I just got off the phone with Mr. Uden, and I've got some great news to share with everyone a little bit later.
Oh, well, can we, not now?
Well, I will just tell you that in Orange County in November, we will be setting up a major display at the Jewish Community Center in Irvine, and we will be screening True Honor at a big community event right around Veterans Day.
You know what? Time goes way too fast in all respects. Greg Lee, a true hero as far as I'm concerned, and I know many of you after hearing him will agree, he is a true hero to all of us. Thank you so very much. And you have to come back when we have more time, because I know there's going to be tons of things that our veterans out there would want to know, and the people. Another thing, if anyone would like to get in touch with Greg Lee, if you would like to email me, pinklady7@earthlink.net. That's pinklady7@earthlink.net. I will be glad to give your information to Greg, and I know that if he deems it plausible and has time, he will definitely talk to you. Right. Thank you so much.
And also, for those of you who want more information on how to reach the Pink Lady or any of our guests, if you would go on to the LA Talk Radio site that you use to watch this program, you will find a bio, and in that biography you will find her email and the website where you can find more information. Greg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. We'll be right back, everyone.
You're listening to Pink Lady Presents, only on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to Pink Lady Presents, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone. We're back. We're back with a rush of enthusiasm. We are here with a gentleman that I call a man for all seasons and all reasons, Mr. Larry Covin, who is a singer, producer, a president of Coco Productions, a director, a humanitarian, which we'll go into afterwards. But first, I want to give you a jolt, and I want Mr. Larry Covin to sing My Gal. Here we go.
I've got sunshine on a crowded day. When it's cold outside, like the month of May, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl. I'm talking about my girl, my girl. I've got so much honey than the bees ever need. I've got the richest baby any man could see. Hey, hey, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way is my girl, my girl, my girl. I'm talking about my girl, my girl. Ooh, ooh. I can't do the steps, but it goes like this. This way, that way. Hey, hey, hey. Come on. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh, ooh. I don't need no money, fortunes of fame. I have the richest baby any man can claim. I guess you say, well, just what make me feel this way is my girl, my girl, my girl. I'm talking about my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day with my girl. I even have the month of May with my girl.
I love it. Okay, I love that. My girl. I'll be your girl anytime, except I'll get killed from his lovely bride, Marsha.
I get killed.
Let me say this to you. You were brought up and born in the Bronx of New York, and literally, got to show everybody, fought, and I mean fought in a ring your way out of the Bronx
Yes.
to be who you are now.
Yes.
How did you do it? How'd you do it? I know.
Well, very small fortune in my life. I was homeless for a while, and I happened to go in the movie theater one night, and it was cold outside, and it was a movie of The Joker's Wild starring Frank Sinatra, and I was touched by his manner, his vocal, and just the type of person he were in the movie. And I would walk around, and I finally saw an album in a record shop, and I thought, oh, that's the guy that was in the movie. And
How young were you at that time? I mean,
oh God, about 9 years old.
wow. Okay.
I was homeless at the time,
Oh,
so I
oh.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
And then what happened? I mean, 9, 10, 11?
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Okay. After that, I found places, and I learned a lot about hobos during the time. There was a lot of hobos were traveling around, and there were some from World War II, and they were telling me a lot of stories. I was wondering why they were homeless like myself. And I thought one person was my father who was not my father. And then I began to go up on the roof of the buildings to sing songs of Sinatra, and he motivated me with a song called Mr. Success.
oh, yeah.
And let's get away from it all. Nothing but the best is good enough for me. And every time I walked by a club, I would hear the jukebox at the time, and I would hear certain songs, and it inspired me. So then I wanted to box because I was upset with what had happened in life, in my
But
younger
that
life.
helped you, though. It
Yes.
it was a way of taking anger out.
Not really anger, but I wanted to perform.
Okay.
And I never thought I would be able to do the things I've accomplished today as a singer. So I thought as a boxer like Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, every black kid wanted to do that at that time. But then I fought for some time at Bobby Gleason Gym in the Bronx, New York, along with some of the great fighters at the time, Dick Taggart, Bob Foster. And then later on, I came to California to fight as a prize fighter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was Silver Slipper, but they changed it, tore it down. And everything started at the Caesar's Palace. And then I got involved in a little band. I started singing. Then I met my lovely wife, Marsha. And she said, your words are an inspiration to the people of the world. You should learn how to play a trumpet.
Oh.
So she gave me a trumpet. She said, you sing like Louis
Okay.
Armstrong, sing like him. I go, play like him. So I went to school to learn to play trumpet, which I never learned that much because I was interested in other things. Then I made some recordings at Capitol Records, a song called Sunday Morning for her, because I spent the whole day, we would spend the whole day together, and Sunday was my special day. So Sunday morning was a very special song.
But
It's
you've
pretty
gotten
popular.
you've gotten awards. You've gotten Hollywood
God.
Entertainer of the Year,
Whoa.
the Governor's
Yeah,
Award of
yeah.
California,
Yeah.
award from the Mayor of Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and many more. I mean, I know you've earned them, but I think we're all proud to know that what you've done. But the most important thing in my way of thinking is what you've done in your humanitarian way of helping our veterans and our seniors. And you go to hospitals, you entertain people.
Yes.
And then I understand that you've done so much for our veteran community, like,
Also, I want to mention Alice Marsh, the Jeffrey Foundation. I've been
Yes.
involved with her for 37 years. I started with Steve Allen, and Steve Allen was the celebrity chairman for the celebrity fundraisers, and I was in charge of entertainment, which I'm still is now. And I think I met you there one
Yeah.
time. And then I got involved with the Southern California Motion Picture when Gene Durant
Miranda
was president.
Mahoney, yes.
With Gene Durant
Yeah.
before Randall
Uh-huh.
Malone. I worked with them for 25 years as vice president, also an entertainment director, and I met so many stars. So I'm fortunate, especially working with you.
Oh,
I've had a chance
I
to work
love
on
him.
the stage with you, and it's been such a thrill to be behind stage.
in
with
fact,
Bobby.
it was with our show called We Have a Dream.
Yes, with Bobby on the
That's
side
right.
helping me out
That's
and
right.
all the great
It was
stars.
fabulous.
Yes.
And that was a show that everyone was a very young, 60, 70, 80
Yes.
and up.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
my musicals,
Yes.
which I do, and kind of get the people who should still be playing up there to realize that it ain't over
Yes.
until they say it's
And
over.
I want to thank you for that, for
Yeah.
what you do for so many seniors. As you mentioned in your early guests, what make you want to do certain things? You.
Let me
music
ask you
does.
something. You've performed for over 30 years. I realize that. But now you have a project that I heard for the SS Lane Victory. And can you tell us something about that? I'm going to hold this up for our audience. It's a fundraiser, but tell us what it's all
SS
about.
Lane Victory on May the 19th. We will be there, and also Chaplain DOV will be with us. It's a ship that was named after a slave, and he was whooped trying to read the Bible, so he learned to master English language with a candle. So in 1932, they built Lane University in Tennessee after him. In 1945, they built the SS Lane Victory ship. My wife and I, we discovered the ship 38 years ago.
And where is this ship now?
It's down in San Pedro.
Okay.
And we're having a very special event on May the 19th with our good friend Chow coming from China, and he's going to have an art show, and there's going to be thousands of people on the ship. Hope we can carry them all on there.
Is this the famous artist that did the 9/11 painting?
Yes, tribute
Fabulous.
to 9/11, the freedom painting.
In fact, we
And
have
he
to
will be
bring
there.
that in,
There's
Dove,
a
one
picture
time.
on
That's
the
it
top
right
of
Oh,
the
there it
flyer.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they can
Probably.
zone in on it, but I have it, and it's fabulous. And now that you are here, you're going to sing for us one of my favorite songs. And I'm not going to tell anybody what it is. I'm going to let you show it. Larry Covin, everyone.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue, and it's all because of you. And I'll say to myself, what a wonderful world, yeah. Zadu, zadu, zay. I see skies of white, skies of blue, bright blessed day, it all belonged to you. And I'll say to myself, what a wonderful world. You know the colors of a rainbow, pretty in the sky, also on faces, people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're only saying, paint, love you. I hear babies cry, we watch them grow. They'll learn much more than such will ever know. And I'll say to myself, what a wonderful world, yeah. Zadu, zadu, zay. I'll say to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh. Larry, what do you see yourself accomplishing in the next 5 years of your life?
My wife and I are having a good time. We are involved in a very nice gentleman, Chuck Harris, who's been aging us, and he's going to take us on a cruise.
Ooh.
He got me involved in a movie, the Louis Armstrong life story. And right now, this coming July, I'm going to be a headliner. I just couldn't get this blow it up. But in a big show, I'm playing Mr. Motown. Can you believe that? So
Wow.
a lot of
And
wonderful
where
things
is
are
the
happening.
show?
This is going to be in Oxnard, along with one of the greatest singers of all time, Brenton Wood, who made many grand records, and it's an honor to work with him.
And when will this be now again?
This will be July the 21st. But I
Okay.
will be continuing to working with him. I used to sing on doo-wop on the corners when he had records. And here I am on the stage with him. So we'll see what happens when you believe in yourself.
That's right.
So
When you
we're
really
going to
believe
be
in
able
yourself.
to help tell the public about this event. And I really want to emphasize what's coming up on May 19th.
Yes.
For those who are in the Southern California area, you got to go to San Pedro and support the SS Lane Victory
Right.
and our friend Larry Covin, and meet Chow Young, who's a wonderful artist coming
Fabulous
from
man.
China. We were there together in March.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry, he does these benefits all the time to help keep that ship from
Right.
being scrapped.
Yes.
So, do you want to take a call while we're here? We
Yes,
haven't
go
taken any
ahead.
because we've been so
I know.
involved.
Okay.
Who have we got, Bobby?
Here's the call. Hello, caller. I don't hear anybody. Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Maybe
we had
they-
a number of
we-
calls
I
during
know,
the
we're,
program.
We're sorry. As I said, we'll get to them starting next week. Thank you. Thank you, every single one of you. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Believe me when I tell you, the pleasure is all mine.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
your lovely bride for letting you come today.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Chaplain
And
Dove.
one of the things that we want to leave the folks with today is if you haven't been to your Los Angeles National Cemetery here in Los Angeles, you've got to come on Memorial Day and 2 days before
Please.
Memorial Day.
Right.
The 26th of May, we'll have over 10,000 scouts putting flags out on 88,800
Right.
grave sites. And on Memorial Day, we'll have representatives from 50 consul generals presenting wreaths in honor of the those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. Do you have someone there now? We may have a call. Every time a call came in, we were talking.
Is someone there?
Hi, we're watching you here in Los Angeles, and I got your
And
new
who is
book.
that?
In fact, I just finished reading it.
Somebody
I
who got
love
your
how
book
you
and just finished reading
incorporated-
it.
Oh, how did you like it?
I love how you incorporated our family. This is your granddaughter, Miko. your
Miko is on the
eldest.
phone. Miko is...
And it was a great book, great show. I love you, Pink Grandma. I'm so glad that your great-grandchildren have such a great role model to live up to.
Thank you, Miko. And just to reiterate, Pink has 5 children.
Six grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren.
One of whom...
Miko is my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, and it's her little girl, Mia, who's the oldest one, who's 6 going on 40. I mean, you know how that is. And they all call me
And we all
Pink
love you
Grandma.
very, very much.
So,
We're
Thank you,
so
Miko.
proud
thank
of
you, honey. Everyone, thank you so much for watching us today. And as you see, everyone has a story to tell, all of us. And it's not how we tell that story, it's how we live that story. Every moment, every day, all year long. So please, remember, it ain't over till you say it's over. And if anyone wants to reach me, please call 818-606-6679. That's my home number. Be glad to talk to you. Or email pinklady with a number 7 at earthlink.net. And if you'd like to reach any of the other people on our program, like Larry or Coco, please email me again, pinklady7 at earthlink.net, and we will see that they get your message, because I know many of you would like to talk to them about perhaps singing at your event, because when I tell you something, they will make your event the star event of the year. Chaplain Dove, anything?
Just thank you so much for doing this. Our viewers very much enjoy the musicals you've produced over the years, and now they have a chance worldwide to watch this program and meet some of your friends. This is all about Larry and Coco and Greg
That's right.
and people who are friends of the Pink Lady. And that's why we call it Pink Lady Presents.
God
Thanks,
bless.
everyone. See you next time.
Thank you. God bless.
Bye.
You're listening to Pink Lady Presents, only on LA Talk Radio.